Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about this topic, the dipole in a uniform magnetic field. When we sprinkle some iron filings on a sheet of glass placed over a short bar magnet, the iron filings will arrange in a particular way which is given in your textbook page number 175. So please see that figure. And you have already studied about this sprinkling of iron filings on a sheet of glass paper. On a sheet of glass placed over a small bar magnet in 10th standard. Okay, so I hope you remember that pattern or that particular arrangement of that iron filings there in that situation. So actually that pattern of iron filings gives us an approximate idea of the magnetic field. Now, if you want to determine the magnitude of magnetic field, the magnetic field strength accurately, we can do that by placing a small magnetic compass needle in a magnetic field. So here I have considered a uniform magnetic field here. Okay, our topic is like this, the dipole in a uniform magnetic field. So we have considered a uniform magnetic field which is represented by these orange color dotted lines. Okay, these are actually representing the magnetic field, a uniform magnetic field. Then we placed a magnetic compass needle in this uniform magnetic field. So this magnetic compass needle, it has a north pole as well as a south pole, and this actually makes some angle theta with the magnetic field. Okay, this angle theta actually this makes with the magnetic field. And we have already discussed about the current carrying loop in a magnetic field. We got one expression for the torque acting on that current carrying loop. I hope you remember that expression. We got the expression for the torque on a current carrying loop which is kept in a uniform magnetic field. We got the expression for the torque as torque tau equal to vector m cross vector b. So if you don't know this expression, I will provide one link in the description box. So you please watch that video first, then you will get an idea about this expression. So when a current carrying loop is kept in a uniform magnetic field, there will be a torque acting on this current carrying loop that will be equal to, torque is equal to vector m cross vector b. Okay. Similarly here, this compass needle, it is kept in this uniform magnetic field, so that will experience some torque. Let vector m be the magnetic moment of this needle. Then the torque experienced by this needle of magnetic moment vector m placed in this external magnetic field vector b will be equal to the same expression, torque tau, vector tau equal to vector m cross vector b. Or its magnitude can be written as tau equal to m into b into sine theta. Okay, so when a magnetic needle which has some magnetic moment vector m that is kept in a uniform magnetic field vector b, then there will be some torque experienced by this magnetic needle, and that torque will be equal to mb sine theta. Now, this torque mb sine theta, this torque will tend to rotate this needle. Okay, and there will be another torque which is called as restoring torque. Okay, you have studied about restoring force, no? Similarly, there will be a restoring torque which will be acting on this magnetic needle, and that will oppose this torque. Okay, when a magnetic needle is kept in an external magnetic field, there will be a torque mb sine theta acting on this needle. But there will be another torque which is called as restoring torque that will be acting on this magnetic needle, and that will oppose this torque. We already know that when we apply some external force to stretch a spring, and when we release it, it will go back to its original conditions like shape, position, etc. And that is a restoring force will act on it. Okay, you just imagine you have a spring here. Then when you are stretching the spring like this by a small displacement x, then there will be a restoring force which will act in the opposite direction of this displacement. That will be equal to F is equal to minus kx. So restoring force F is equal to minus kx, and this minus sign shows that the restoring force acts in the opposite direction of its displacement. We stretched the spring along this direction, so restoring force will act in the opposite direction. Okay, so here also this torque, tau equal to mb sin theta, this acts on the needle that will try to rotate the magnetic needle, and hence there will be a restoring force acting on it in the opposite direction. So that restoring force can be, not the force, restoring torque. Okay, we are dealing with the rotational motion. So that restoring torque in the opposite direction can be written as tau equal to minus mb sin theta. Okay, this negative sign because of the opposite direction. That is, the restoring torque acts in the direction of decreasing theta. Okay, torque acts on the magnetic needle that will tend to rotate the needle in a particular direction. So there will be a restoring torque act in the opposite direction. So that is why one negative sign here. Okay, now in terms of moment of inertia, we have an expression for the torque. Actually, we have a basic formula for the torque in terms of moment of inertia. That expression is like this: torque tau equal to I into d square theta divided by dt square. Okay, so this is the basic formula which gives us an expression for the torque in terms of moment of inertia I. You see, actually we have a basic formula. We have this expression, a very familiar expression, F is equal to m into A, which we get from Newton's second law of motion. Okay, now, so this is actually an expression which is applicable for linear motion of an object. Okay, this acceleration is the linear acceleration of an object. But for rotational motion, this force can be replaced with what? Torque, rotating effect of force, that is torque. And this m that can be taken as moment of inertia, the equivalent of that mass in rotational motion is actually moment of inertia. Then linear acceleration can be replaced with what? Angular acceleration. Okay, what is acceleration? If x is the displacement of an object, linear displacement of an object, then its velocity will be equal to what? Dx by dt. Right, then what about its linear acceleration? Dv by dt, no? Dv by dt means d square x by dt square. Okay, so here the linear acceleration A equal to d square x by dt square, where x is the linear displacement. Okay, so the rotational, the acceleration, the angular acceleration, the acceleration in the rotational motion, that is angular acceleration will be what? D square angular displacement theta divided by dt square. Linear acceleration is d square x by dt square, where x is the linear displacement. So in rotational motion, the corresponding term will be angular acceleration, and angular acceleration will be what? D square. In the place of linear displacement, we will have angular displacement, so theta divided by dt square. So you see, we can write this expression like this now. F, that is tau here in rotational motion, mass, moment of inertia, and linear acceleration. In rotational motion, we have angular acceleration, d square theta by dt square. Okay, so in terms of moment of inertia, we have this expression for the torque. Okay, so here I am taking this as equation number 1 and I am taking this as equation number 2. Now, in equilibrium, these two torques will be equal. That is in equilibrium. In equilibrium, equation number 1 will be equal to equation number 2. In equilibrium, this torque will be equal to this torque. So we can write in equilibrium I into d square theta by dt square equal to minus mb sin theta. Okay, now for small values of theta, if theta is very less, then we can approximate sin theta to theta. Okay, so for small values of theta, sin theta can be approximated to theta. So we can write this expression as I into d square theta divided by dt square is equal to minus mb. Then sin theta is approximated to theta. Okay, so from this we can write d square theta divided by dt square is equal to, I am taking this I to this side, so that goes to the denominator. So minus mb divided by I into theta. Okay, so we are getting one such expression, d square theta by dt square equal to minus mb by I into theta, and I am taking this as equation number 3. Now you see, we have discussed about simple harmonic motion, SHM, simple harmonic motion in 11th standard. It is actually an oscillatory motion, but its displacement varies with the time as x of t is equal to some a cos of omega t plus phi. Okay, we have studied about this in 11th standard. Okay, simple harmonic motion. In simple harmonic motion, it is a kind of oscillatory motion, but its displacement varies with the time like this. Now, if I am taking this phi as 0, then we can write this expression as x of t is equal to a into cos of omega t. Okay, then this is actually an expression for the displacement. So what about velocity? Velocity v equal to dx divided by dt, which is equal to a into derivative of cos omega t, derivative of cos theta minus sin theta. So I am taking this, or I am taking this as x, omega t as x. So derivative of cos x minus sin x. So minus sin x means omega t into the derivative of x. X we have taken as omega t now. So derivative of omega t will be omega. So into omega. That means minus a omega sin omega t. Okay, now what about acceleration? Acceleration is dv by dt. Right. So this is equal to derivative of minus a omega sin omega t, because velocity is minus a omega sin omega t. So acceleration dv by dt. dv by dt is actually what? D square x by dt square. Right. Which is equal to minus a into omega into derivative of sin x cos x, so cos omega t into 1 omega will be here, so omega square. Okay. So you see, we got the expression for acceleration as d square x by dt square, which is equal to minus a omega square cos omega t. Okay, we started with this now, x of t is equal to a cos omega t, and we got the acceleration from this. So, this acceleration d square x by dt square is equal to, you see, a into cos omega t, that is actually what? X of t. Right. So, you can write like this now, minus a omega square, then x. Okay, x of t or x is equal to a cos omega t. So, this a cos omega t can be taken as x. Then we have minus omega square here. So, minus omega square x. Okay. So, I am taking this as equation number 4. Now, you just compare these two expressions. Equation number 3 with equation number 4. this expression, it is some kind of or it has one kind of some same form. Okay, this expression 3 has one kind of same form as that of expression 4, no? Equation 4, no? That means this equation represents, you see d square theta by dt square. Here d square x by dt square. Then here we have one term. Okay, here also we have some term here. Then theta, angular displacement. Here we have linear displacement x. So when we are comparing these two equations, we can see or we can say that this equation has one kind of same form as that of this equation 4. That means this equation number 3 that represents a simple harmonic motion. Okay, this is actually the case for a simple harmonic motion, no? It is quite has a similar form as that of this. So we can say that this expression 3 that represents a simple harmonic motion. Okay, now while we are comparing these two equations, you see angular acceleration, linear acceleration, then minus minus. In the place of omega square, x linear displacement, theta angular displacement. So in the place of omega square, here we have what? mb by I. Okay, so we can write omega square is equal to mb divided by I. Okay, from that we can write omega is equal to square root of mb divided by I. So we got the expression for the angular frequency. Now what about the time period? Time period t is equal to 2 pi by omega. Right, t equal to 2 pi by omega. So this will be t equal to 2 pi by omega, no? So that comes 2 pi by root of mb by I. So while we are doing multiplication with reciprocal, I goes to the numerator and mb denominator. So we will get the time period like this, t equal to 2 pi into square root of I by mb. Okay, now if I am squaring on both the sides of this equation, I am taking this as equation number 5. Okay, now I am squaring on both the sides of this equation 5. So what will I get? T square equal to 2 pi the whole square, that is 4 pi square. Square root of I by mb the whole square, that is I by mb. Okay, I have just squared on both the sides of this equation, that's all. Okay, so we got the expression like this, t square is equal to 4 pi square I by mb. Then I am taking this b to this side, so b equal to t square to the denominator. Okay, so 4 pi square I is the moment of inertia, divided by m into t square. So we are getting one such expression. I am taking this as equation number 6. So we got the equation like this, b equal to 4 pi square I divided by m t square, where I is the moment of inertia, m magnetic moment, then t time period. And b, it is the magnitude of magnetic field. So this is actually an expression to calculate the magnitude of the magnetic field if the moment of inertia I, time period t and magnetic dipole moment m are given to you. Okay, so we can calculate the magnetic field by using this expression. Similarly, you can calculate small letter m by rearranging this expression. You can calculate I by rearranging this expression like this. Okay. So in this video, we have discussed about the dipole in a uniform magnetic field. And we got the expression for the magnetic field like this. That is, we got an expression to calculate the magnitude of the magnetic field if moment of inertia I, magnetic dipole moment m and time period t are given to us. And by rearranging this expression, we can calculate m or we can calculate I, etc. I hope you understood this class. Thank you.